Welcome to WorkSmart 2.0. This is going to be a demonstration of registering a formulated product in WorkSmart 2.0. Keep in mind that the information that is entered is for demonstration only. This is not a true registration, and your registration may result in slightly different questions, and your responses should always be the most accurate for your product. Let's get started. We're going to create a new registration. And here we will do a hairspray. Always try to register your product name that is most accurate. Do not simply use model numbers or other reference data. Also try to not use quantities within your product name because you can have multiple UPCs on a registration. As long as the registration has the same formula, transportation, and other regulatory data, that can all be carried under one registration that can have multiple UPCs associated. This particular product does not cover under a brand for my account, and here I will choose a hairspray aerosol. Because my product type is an aerosol hairspray, the default physical state is aerosol, and I can then say that it is a liquid spray. It's a neutral pH, so that would be 7. If I did not have a pH, I could then select. And my water solubility is that it is completely soluble in water. It does have a propellant in it, being an aerosol liquid spray, but it is not classified for federal waste. This particular product can be sold in the United States. It is classified using OSHA standards, which went into effect on July of 2015. I do not directly ship it to the consumer. It is not a private label or store brand registration, and I'm not selling it directly to the retailer for their own use. Here I can use the My Ingredients information that I have set up in my account, and it contains propane, some alcohol, and also blue dye. That then pre-populates my table with the default information I've set up in My Ingredients, and I can simply then enter the percentages present of each of these components, and they should then equal 100%. If I wanted to change the default for my water, which I have indicated is publicly disclosed, I can do that here and say that my product's label indicates this ingredient as water. For the Toxic Substances Control Act in the United States, this product is compliant with that act. It does not contain a Prop 65 chemical in the product itself or in the packaging material. It is regulated for transport under DOT, but I'm able to ship with limited quantity. And DOT would be the U.S. Department of Transportation regulations. And here I would enter the base classification before limited quantity is applied. And because it is an aerosol, that would be UN 1950. DOT goes by UN numbers, and if you need more information on that, you're encouraged to visit their website. The proper shipping name is a flammable aerosol because of the propellant in there being propane. I don't have a technical name in this instance. Because it is flammable, that is a 2.1 hazard class under the DOT regulations, and my packing group is not applicable. Because this is an aerosol hairspray, I'm also going to get volatile organic compound information being required during the registration. This particular product has not been granted an alternative control plan, so I'm going to indicate no. And the amount of VOC as a weight percentage of the total formula, excluding any exempt compounds as defined by the California Air Resources Board For this particular formulation, I'm going to say is a 1. And then the OTC, the ozone commission, is also 1. Do I want to then copy this information into each state that may have VOC regulations? I would say yes. So here you will see today's date, and that is when the analysis is run. The compliance limits for the OTC model rule and the CARB limits are 55 for this type of product. And the states that need VOC data, I've also entered that accordingly as 1. And so this does not exceed the limits for CARB and does not exceed the limits for OTC. As you may recall earlier, I said that this product is classified under the GHS regulations. For health hazards, there are none, and physical hazards, there are none. The next option is to select what retailers I would like this registrations assessment to be provided to. Once again, this is a hairspray, so I'm going to say it needs to go to Dollar General, Save Mart, Target, and Walmart. Here is an illustration confirming the retailers I've selected. Some retailers, such as Walmart, require a vendor ID for the product registration, and I will select that from my information. That information is maintained and needs to be set up in the retail partners area. Continue. And now I will add my UPCs. I sell this in a 10-ounce size. Target requires a DPCI number, and they would provide that to you for each UPC. This particular product could be sold in 2 sizes. And this particular UPC I do not sell to Target, but I do sell to Dollar General, Save Mart, and Walmart. And I can now continue. I do have an OSHA compliant safety data sheet for the product, and I'm going to upload that now. I can either select Browse, pick the file, and then upload it, or I can grab my file and drag and drop it into that field. If I've inadvertently added the wrong document, I can remove it and then add the right one. I do need to confirm that I understand this is OSHA compliant and up to date for the standard. If you do not provide an OSHA compliant GHS as of 2015 document with your assessment, you will be contacted by our assessment team to fix that issue. The assessment will not proceed until the document is compliant. If you're unsure, you may always request to have a safety data sheet written for your product. Additional fees would apply. If you have other documents you'd like to provide as options, such as a product label, or if you had a special permit for your transportation, you could provide those here. Because this is a VOC regulated product, I would have to provide a label for that product which would indicate the VOC. If you wanted to purchase additional documents regarding your registration, you can do so here, such as safety data sheets for other regions, as well as VOC restriction documents, a regulated waste report, and other items. If you have any additional comments you'd like to make about your product, you can do so here. These are typically reviewed by our assessment team. And then you would continue with your submission. Be sure the email address you provide is one that is accurate. If there are any questions during the assessment, that is the email address that will be used to contact the person to resolve the question that's outstanding. Once you're sure all the data is accurate, you would agree that you've provided accurate data and that you understand that you're submitting your data where an assessment will be performed on it. The assessment data is what is provided to the recipient or retailer. Your registration data remains in the database. When you accept, if you are already enrolled in subscription and you have not purchased any additional items, this data will then go right to our assessment team. You do not have to go to the shopping cart. If you've purchased additional items such as a safety data sheet or other reports, you would then have to go to the shopping cart to finalize that part of the transaction. And that is an example of a formulated registration. Thank you.